Once upon a time, the Buddha experienced a previous life in hell, where he endured immense suffering due to his past mistakes. Like all of us, he caused suffering for himself and others through his actions. The Buddha's presence in hell was a result of a grave wrongdoing that brought great pain to himself and those around him. In that hell, the Buddha and another man toiled under the harsh supervision of a heartless guard. The environment was characterized by darkness, extreme cold, and scorching heat. The guard lacked compassion and seemed oblivious to the suffering and emotions of others. He ruthlessly beat the two men, as it was his task to maximize their suffering. However, the guard himself suffered greatly. He appeared devoid of any love or empathy, behaving like a heartless criminal. His brutal actions made it difficult to see him as a fellow human being. Unmoved by the pain and anguish of others, he relentlessly inflicted suffering upon the two men. In one of his previous lives, the Buddha was one of the two men in this hell. The guard wielded a three-pointed instrument to continuously prod and push them forward, causing blood to flow from their wounded backs. They were never allowed to rest, enduring constant pushing and beating. The guard himself seemed driven by an unseen force, as if he too was being pushed from behind. Have you ever experienced an invisible force pushing you forward, even when there is no one physically behind you? Have you felt compelled to do things you dislike or say things you don't mean? It reaches a point where you no longer recognize yourself, causing immense suffering for both yourself and those around you. Because the guard himself was being driven by this force, he inflicted great harm upon the two men. They suffered from extreme cold, hunger, and constant physical abuse. One afternoon, the man who would become the Buddha witnessed the guard's brutal treatment of his companion. Something stirred within him, urging him to speak out. He knew that intervening or opposing the guard's actions would result in his own beating. However, the urge to intervene grew too strong to ignore. He wished to say, "Stop beating him so harshly. Why not allow him a moment to rest? Why must you stab, beat, and push him incessantly?" Deep within the Buddha, a strong impulse to intervene arose, despite being fully aware that he would face the guard's wrath. Overwhelmed by this impulse, he turned fearlessly to face the guard and uttered, "Why don't you give him a moment of respite? Why do you persistently beat and push him like this? Do you not have a heart?" These were the words spoken by the man who would later become the Buddha. When the guard heard his protest, anger consumed him. He thrust his fork into the Buddha's chest, causing his immediate death. Yet in that very same moment, the Buddha was reborn as a human being, escaping hell and embracing life on earth. The birth of compassion within him had been strong enough to grant him the courage to intervene and aid his fellow man in hell. The other man witnessed the Buddha's demise, igniting anger within him. For the first time, he experienced a glimpse of compassion. The Buddha's act of intervention on his behalf must have been fueled by love and compassion. This sparked a seed of compassion within the man as well. He looked at the guard and declared, "My friend was right. You lack a heart. You only bring suffering upon yourself and others. I doubt you can find true happiness. You have killed him." Enraged by the man's words, the guard turned his fork on the second man, thrusting it into his stomach. He too met an instant death and was reborn as a human being on earth. Both men escaped hell and were granted the opportunity to start anew as complete human beings. What fate awaited the guard, the one believed to lack a heart? Overwhelmed by a profound sense of loneliness, he found himself utterly alone in that desolate hell. The absence of the other two individuals made him realize the value of companionship. The guard could not bear such isolation, and hell became an unbearable torment for him. In that hell, the guard made a vow that if he were to care for others in the future, he would treat them with kindness. A transformation occurred within his heart, proving that he did possess a heart after all. Every individual possesses a heart. They simply require something or someone to touch it and transform it into a compassionate human heart. The guard's experience of intense loneliness and his longing for human connection gave birth to these emotions within him. In life, we cannot exist in isolation. Other humans are not our enemies. We must not harbor hatred, commit violence, or reduce others to nothingness. If we destroy our fellow human beings, with whom shall we share our lives? Do not live in isolation. Share your life and emotions with others, and be good and kind. This is the essence of a beautiful life. Motivational stories aim to inspire and encourage us on this path. Thank you for reading, and may you be blessed. Thank you so much for joining me today on this captivating journey through a powerful story of transformation and compassion. I hope you found it as inspiring as I did. This story reminds us of the incredible capacity for change that exists within each and every one of us. No matter what mistakes we've made or how lost we may feel, there is always an opportunity for redemption and growth. Just like the Buddha in his previous life, we often find ourselves trapped in cycles of suffering and causing pain to ourselves and those around us. But it is through moments of awakening, when compassion and empathy rise within us, that we can break free from these patterns and embark on a new path. The Buddha's act of courage in standing up against the guard, despite knowing the consequences, resonates deeply with us. It's a reminder that we have the power to create change, not only for ourselves but for others as well. We all have experienced moments when we felt pushed and pressured, doing things we didn't want to do or saying things that weren't true to ourselves. It's in those moments that we need to dig deep and find the strength to stand up for what we believe is right, just as the Buddha did. This story teaches us the importance of compassion, not only towards others, but also towards ourselves. It's a reminder that we are all connected, and by extending kindness and understanding, we can create a ripple effect of positivity in the world. So, let's take a moment to reflect on this story and how it resonates with our own lives. Are there situations where we can be more compassionate? Are there instances when we can break free from the cycle of suffering and bring about positive change? Remember, we all have a heart within us waiting to be awakened. It's up to us to nurture it and allow it to guide our actions and decisions. Thank you once again for joining me on this incredible journey. I hope this story has left you feeling inspired and motivated to make a difference in your own life and the lives of those around you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more thought-provoking content. And always remember, we have the power to transform our lives and create a world filled with compassion and understanding. Until next time, may you find the courage to awaken your heart and make a positive impact. Stay blessed and take care.